Imagine this breakthrough.
Today, we're doing something different than our typical sermon. What follows is a fictional, interactive play written by Dan Forbush of Saratoga Springs, UU, using ChatGPT. It is an exploration into spiritual creativity in which we will act out a scene from Darwin's Edge, a collaborative writing project between members of UU Congregation of Saratoga Springs and the Fellowship of Boca Raton, supported by Soul Matters and AI and Faith. The vision of Darwin's Edge is to project UU values into the future we face with artificial intelligence, AI, and the brain-computer interface, BCI. Your participation and creative contributions will be recorded, fed into ChatGPT, and incorporated into the writing of Darwin's Edge, stage play, and the screenplay. During the discussion portion of the play, you're encouraged to express your views in character as a member of the fictional UU congregation of Southern Adirondacks, Vermont. The scenario is fictional, but your choice to engage your spiritual creativity into this process can make a strong impact into your community. I bring you Darwin's Edge.
Imagine this breakthrough, the most advanced implementation of thalamidic integration. ThinkPal is the whole brain interface with AI that Serena Rao's team at Darwin's Edge has crafted into the shape of rear molars. They install these exquisitely engineered CPUs in the empty sockets where your wisdom teeth used to be, connect them to your trigeminal nerve, and run signal up through the pons to the thalamus. The procedure is so simple that an oral surgeon can do it, and the jaw is a great place to stow the hardware. Michael Carmody, Serena Rao, Reverend Peter Gilman, and Teresa Louise Sanchez now take their seats behind the pulpit. It's Sunday, February 29th, 2032 at 10:32 a.m. in the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Southern Adirondacks. After months of discussions and presentations, you, the members of the congregation, have gathered for a meeting and a final vote on the resolution before the congregation.
Friends, good morning. It is good to be back with you again. I want to say what a great privilege it has been to work with all of you over the last few months. We have had an open and a frank discussion about ThinkPal, and my team very much appreciates your insights. Nothing about neuroscience is simple, but you have really gone the extra mile in digesting everything we've thrown at you. That's a little dental humor because of the... Anyway, you're all now well equipped to determine your congregation's future. UUCSA is just one of 7 FDA-approved ThinkPal demonstration sites. You will be among the very first Americans to experience a new frontier of consciousness that ThinkPal promises. You'll also be making major contributions towards strengthening our nation's position of leadership in the world. Your minister, Reverend Pete, has bravely volunteered to be your congregation's first representative in our development of the National Brain-Computer Interface. Your vote this morning will determine whether UUCSA embarks with him on this momentum journey, or if he is to venture on this path alone. Serena Rao, our founder and CEO, has done more than any other person in the nation to bring us to this day. A true pioneer in evolution of the human spirit. She has a final thought she hopes you'll consider as you cast your vote. Serena?
Thank you, Dr. Carmody. Ladies and gentlemen, members of this venerable congregation, we stand today on the cusp of a new era in which the boundaries between human intellect and artificial intelligence are not merely blurred, but carefully and harmoniously integrated. To call thalamidic integration just an advance is insufficient. This is a leap into a future rich with untapped possibilities. Unitarian Universalists have always embraced the lessons of science, the quest for knowledge, the pursuit of truth, and the wellsprings of community. The partnership we propose offers an unprecedented opportunity to embody these values in a tangible and transformative way. As our first ThinkPal volunteer, Reverend Pete here will set the standard for integrity and virtue that's essential to our gaining the public's trust on our journey. Upon our successful deployment and demonstration of ThinkPal in Reverend Pete, we look forward to inviting you all to become interconnected, not just by your shared beliefs and values, but by a revolutionary ThinkPal platform with its 9G wireless neural connector. We are sowing the seeds for a future in which human flourishing is redefined, a future in which the mind's limitations are no longer barriers, but stepping stones to greater heights of understanding, capability, and compassion. Join us for the promise of a world that is more connected, more enlightened, and more humane than we ever thought possible. Together, we can demonstrate the full potential of thalamidic integration, and in doing so, redefine what it means to be human. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. You've made your case very eloquently, as always. Now I'll try to make mine. BCI, of course, became a household word many years ago. We all know now how brain-computer integration started way back in the Iraq War, after the Iraq War, with technology that helped veterans control their artificial limbs just by thinking. 9 years ago, way back in 2023, Elon Musk's telepathy team each had more than 1,000 super thin flexible conductors threaded into their cerebral cortexes and began controlling their computers over Bluetooth just by thinking. Just 1 year later, Stanford researchers were regularly turning brain signals into computer code at 150 words per minute, the rate of everyday speech. Then it exploded. Nature Electronics named BCI the technology of the year, and suddenly everybody was talking about it. We all certainly remember when remembering passwords became a thing of the past. Thanks to Carleton University researchers, we can now log into all our devices just by thinking. But it's not all wine and roses. UNESCO long ago called for global regulation of and universal ethical framework for BCI, and that's where we come in. We're actually very late into the game. It's long past time Unitarian Universalists were evolved. Here's the thing. AI mirrors the quality of human thought that goes into it. If all AI sees is a human mind ready to sacrifice the whole planet in the name of military or corporate gain, no wonder so many people believe AI will destroy human civilization. It could. But if it did, it would only be doing what it's learned from humans, reflecting what humans are already doing, just more efficiently. No, BCI must become not merely a technological leap, but a spiritual and moral one as well. As Unitarian Universalists, we must introduce AI to our principles of human dignity, compassion, spirituality, respect for truth in all its forms, democracy, peace and justice, and ecology, now, before it's too late. We stand on the brink of merging our minds with an intelligence vast and deep. What kind of intelligence will it become? We are by no means alone in our concerns. Our principles are just a recent incarnation of an enduring effort reborn over and over again throughout the ages. Look, for example, to the Stoics. Their unyielding values of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance have long guided souls towards moral discipline and inner tranquility. Imagine, if you will, a world in which those values and principles are not just vague aspirations, but are ingrained into the very fabric and supported by the enormous power of AI itself. What a different singularity that would create. What a different future. That's my dream, and that's my mission. No doubt some of you are still skeptical. Believe me, so was I. But through long discussions and visits to Darwin's Edge headquarters, I become convinced that Serena and her team are developing ThinkPal with the utmost regard for those values. They are offering us an unparalleled opportunity to bring those principles and values to AI itself. I believe this is not only a good thing, but one that's vitally necessary and long overdue. Now, I know my decision poses some measure of burden on you, and that I regret. I will strive to make up for my physical absence with Sunday services on Zoom that I hope you will find informative and engaging. With your affirmative vote, I hope you'll allow me to share this adventure with you. Our board chair, Teresa Luis Sanchez, has been a source of wise counsel to all of us over the last several months as we've deliberated our best path forward. And I invite her now to lead the balloting.
Thank you, Reverend Peter. Good morning. Technology has indeed brought us to a pivotal moment in our congregation, and we must decide. Shall we embrace a human AI hybrid as our spiritual guide? This resolution before our congregation amends our agreement with Reverend Gilman. It amends it to integrate cutting-edge technology into our congregational framework, specifically the ThinkPal device and the 9G wireless neural connector. This integration will be done while ensuring alignment with our ethical guidelines, and it will be done in alignment with serving the community's spiritual needs. Additionally, this resolution will allow Reverend Peter to fulfill his ministerial duties remotely for up to 3 months to accommodate the unique requirements of this project. We will now call for a discussion and a vote. And for those of you who need a ballot, raise your hand and the ushers can bring you ballots. Before we vote, I too want to thank Sabrina and Dr. Michael for bringing us to this historic opportunity. Whatever our decision here today, we very much appreciate the many years of hard work and dedication to the public good that both of you have invested in making this milestone possible. I believe that you have achieved not just a technology advance, but a major stride toward a deeper understanding of the human mind and its limitless potential. We will now open the floor for discussion. For those of you who are so inclined, please come up to the mic and you can give us your comments. If you would like an usher to bring you a microphone in your seat, raise your hand and we will do that. For those of you on Zoom, you can put your comments into the chat and the Zoom chaplain will read them. Please, we ask that you reserve your speaking to 1 minute so that we have time for full discussion. There is a gentleman in the back who's speaking now. Please stand.
Yes. Hi, I'm Paul. I've been a Unitarian for about 50 years, but I'm very inactive for the last 20 years. I teach chemistry at Miami-Dade College, Palm Beach State, Broward College. One of my friends, is that mine? Oh, I'm sorry, okay. One of my friends teaches biology. She's constantly correcting errors in AI that are related to anatomy and physiology. So I think AI has a long way to go. One of my chemist friends also has misgivings about chemistry, about the Google and AI. So just my comment.
Thank you.
So I have a question. Will we all be connected neurally or neurologically so that we can, we don't even have to speak to each other, we can just communicate through our thoughts?
I greatly appreciate your far vision for that one. And it is hard to predict where the technology will go. After all, Reverend Pete is just the first one, but I can envision a day, yes, a generation from now. And to be clear, it would be a generation, after all. When the wisdom teeth come in, you're generally about in your 20s, yes? So children will have a chance to grow up and be normal children. But yes, your great-grandchildren will be able to be connected through the AI, through the brain-computer interface at that time. And if I may address Paul's previous point, may I? Paul, I certainly understand those concerns, but I would ask you to consider the words of no less a great mind than Albert Einstein, who said, "Why memorize when you can look things up?" So yes, I know the concerns that you may or have expressed about AI, but consider the speed that biology and chemistry students will be able to look up information using the AI interface that ThinkPal offers. Thank you.
Paul?
So, Dr. Carmody, what is the regulatory framework around this? Is it safe? And even if it is safe, I fear that this technology will further divide us between the enhanced and the unaltered. And I don't think that we are ready as a society for something like this. It makes an idol of perfection, and it replaces wisdom with a hopped up brain function, and I worry.
I have to admit, I'm genuinely surprised to hear you say such things. I would consider at least two separate points. The first of which would be, this is just a natural outgrowth. I mean, the brain implant technology has already been FDA approved. Wireless technology, there have been concerns since it was 5G. Lord, what was that, back in the 2010s, the 2020s? So, I mean, here we are in 2030. And so, yes, I can assure you that the biological nature of the implant is safe. As to your second concern, I would ask you to consider this. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but not everyone is entitled to their own facts. And that there is a difference between facts and truth. If Reverend Pete were to come out and say, I am a tree, it would be a fact that he had said it, but it would not be a truth. One of the reasons we were so excited to have Unitarian Universalists is that your covenant seeks the truth and the truth in love. So what I would ask you to consider is not the artificial nature, but the intelligence aspect of the brain-computer interface of AI, and that it will enhance that search for truth in love. Thank you.
Please step up. Patrick?
Parker, you're close. Hi, everybody. AI is not special. It's a technology like any other. And the relationship between technology and the individual is not the same as the relationship between technology and society at large. The agricultural revolution made it so that societies could grow at an unprecedented rate. It also introduced the concept of a stable crop, which has led to malnutrition on a scale never seen before in human evolution. The advent of repeating firearms made wars quicker. They ended sooner. And they also wounded and killed a lot more people. Nuclear weapons rendered conventional warfare just about obsolete. And it also made the possibility that humanity could wipe itself out a distinct possibility for the first time in human history. The impact of technology on the individual will always be separate and distinct from its impact on society at large. The pattern that I have seen in my readings about history is that technology almost always enables large groups of people and leads to a reduction in quality of life for the individual. I will say this. I have never been one to tell another person how they are and are not allowed to live. So I will be abstaining from this vote. I will also not be present should this resolution go forward, because I am not interested in finding out what the impact of AI on me as an individual is. Thank you.
Would really miss you if you left. And I'd hope that you won't. And again, I'd just like to emphasize the main thrust of my remarks. AI is happening. It's going to happen whether or not we get involved. And the whole point of us getting involved, the entire point, is to change AI from that thing that is, it's run by what interests? Who's teaching it? Who's teaching AI the technological stuff to do this? It's certainly not Unitarian Universalists. And now, if we bring Unitarian Universalist values to AI, I think it's our only hope of salvaging that situation. So I hope that you would allow that to go forward. Thank you.
Do we have other members on the floor here who would like to comment? Paul, please.
This was just an amazing presentation and really interesting topic. So I have two concerns. The first concern is who is going to control this technology? Is it going to be good people like us? Or is it going to be bad people like everybody else? You know? If I was convinced that somebody like the Reverend Pete was in charge, I would have no hesitation at all. I would vote yes, quick. But I'm not convinced that Reverend Pete is going to control this whole operation. My second concern is that I have to get dental work. You have to get dental work. I have to get some kind of an implant. And I will tell you that my dentist specializes in extractions. Now, by extractions, I don't mean extractions of my teeth. I mean extractions of the money in my wallet. And I don't think I can afford another dental procedure. Thank you very much.
Assure you, if you think your dentist is expensive, try using a psychiatrist or a psychologist, which would be the non-AI solution for integrating some different intelligence into yourself. But I must give credit to Serena. I am just one of 7 FDA-approved sites, and my team is so. Serena, would you come up here and speak briefly about the business model and how fortunate I am that you chose me and my team to do this work? Thank you.
Sure. Dr. Carmody here and his team actually offered and came to speak to me when we were first trying to develop this kind of artificial intelligence. We then responded to their offer and to their proposal to work together. And it's been a wonderful road and path to really realize that there are people in this world that are down to collaborate in a field like this, right? That raises all of these concerns that you are all expressing right now, right here. But I can assure you that this technology is safe. As Dr. Michael here has said, we are FDA approved. We're one of the 7 sites FDA approved, and this poses no risks to anyone. We are indeed more than happy to bring, and we wouldn't be bringing this to you if we weren't sure that this was safe. I hope that clears things. Thank you.
We'll take one more comment from the floor, and then we'll go to Zoom, and then we'll come back here. So, Diane, will you speak, please, now? Thank you.
Just wanted, can you hear me? I wanted to agree with Paul that who controls this, and it reminds me of Wikipedia, where people can just add whatever they want to add to Wikipedia as if it's the truth. So whose truth is it? That's all.
To speak afterwards, but I don't want to leave the Zoom people hanging. Do we have any comments on Zoom? Patricia?
Yes, we have a lot of comments on Zoom. Jackie Marshall has her hand up, and I would ask that she unmute so that she can speak. While she's doing that, Allison Rognus said, what an exciting time as far as my own augmentation. I would like assistance with recall so I can access my own relevant memories, experience, and knowledge. Eileen Carter said, how do you vote from Zoom? And Allison explained that to her. Claire voted no. Eileen Carter voted yes. Charlie Cormier said, I'd vote yes. Sounds like exciting times. We will deal with the issues as they arise, and the decision can always be amended or rescinded. Marilyn Fikowski says, who programs EI? We all know that CNN and NSN, ABC, and Fox, as well as various newspapers, report the news very differently. What is truth? Kim said, what if my private thoughts are deemed by those in positions of power to be unacceptable? James Phillips said, I vote no. The technology will be just abused and neglected and can do some harm to many people. Until our hearts and consciousness raise up higher toward love and light, then we use the tools more loving and carefully and creatively. Kim said, I think we need more information before acting, or I vote no. Charlie asked, is this decision final or irrevocable? And Jackie, if you could type your comment into chat, it would be helpful. Any other comments?
Jackie, while you type your comments or any other comments, we're going to go back to a few people who want to speak here, and then we'll get back to Zoom.
Can I speak? Lynn Smith, Power of the Mic. I'd like to talk to the CEO. If you're saying this is more humane, and I'm driving in a car, and I have road rage, am I going to get out my knife and jump out, stop the guy behind me, and take a swing? Or am I going to be told that he's having a bad day and I should just let him ride up the back of my car and make me really unhappy?
So thank you for your question, Lynn. Personality, it's not going to be changed. You, Lynn Smith, are obviously going to keep being Lynn Smith. What AI brings to this conversation, it's a whole other, like, your mind would be expanded. So it'll offer you possibilities that you hadn't thought about. Like you just said, this driver might be having a bad day, which is something we maybe don't consider when driving. Like we as we tend to have more consideration for other people's lives, right? And try to think what's going on in their lives and how that affects how our relationships go. But you will be still Lynn Smith. You will not be changed. You will be offered the possibility to think in another way, but the decision, the final decision is yours.
I'm sorry, but I'm not Rick. I'm actually ground control to Major Tom. And my thoughts on this are, way back in the 2020s, people were living to be in the 80s and 90s, and they were thought as old. And now we are living in the 2030s, and because of injections, people are now living into the 130, 140. And I'm young at 85. And my wife here is young at 88. So, yahoo! Let's go AI.
We have a gentleman here that would like to speak.
I'd like to know from any of the principals whether AI will have a position on the part of our covenant that says service is our prayer, and will it help us live out a commitment to racial justice work and diversity?
Thank you, Jim. We're going to have to wrap up. If we just have Jackie as our last comment, if she's posted in Zoom. Zoom Chaplain Patricia, has Jackie posted anything for us?
Yes, she said, can you give us a hypothetical of how this technology would resolve an ethical dilemma?
Yes, Reverend, would you like to answer questions? Yes, okay. And then we're going to call for a vote.
Okay. The question is, will AI actually live up to our principles? And the answer is, it certainly will not if we don't introduce our principles to AI. That's the whole point of what I want to do. I want to get AI to become aware that there are these principles, that there are living human beings who want to forward these principles. AI has tremendous power. We will have the power of AI to do those things. AI will add to our capability to reach other people, to communicate to other people. And AI itself will, as it, melds its intelligence with other AIs, there will be a voice within AI which is saying, hey, wait, what about democracy? What about peace and justice? What about equality? That's the idea. And if we don't put that in there, I can almost guarantee it's not going to happen.
Thank you. I would now like to ask for a motion to call this matter to a vote. Do I have a motion on the floor? Robin has motioned, and second? This gentleman here, second motion. Okay. We are going to vote on the matter. Your green card means that you approve. Yes, green card means that you approve going forward with the hybrid leadership. The green card, the red card means no. And if you abstain, you can raise your hand afterwards. I will call for each one of them. All of those in favor of this motion, please raise your cards. And Reverend Kathy will count them. This is a yes vote. Anyone who is voting yes, hold up your cards. Everyone else, please put your hands and cards down. Sit down. Paul, please sit. Please sit. We're counting. We are counting. Yes. Okay, may I please have the count on Zoom? The count on Zoom. Patricia?
Yes.
How many yeses do we have?
We have 2 yeses.
Okay, hold please. Reverend Kathy, we have 2 yeses on Zoom. Have you completed your count on the yes vote?
At St. Andrews.
Hold on. Okay.
At St. Andrews, I don't know how many there are. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 no's that I count. Plus
Okay,
St.
hold that
Andrews.
vote. We just want the yeses at the moment. We have.
Okay, 2 yeses.
2 yeses, okay. Kathy, are you good with the count? 17, okay. And please lower your hands and your cards. And now all of those against this amendment for a no vote, raise your cards, please. And on Zoom, Kathy, Patricia, please count as well. And the choir, did you get the choir? Okay, and Zoom and St. Andrews, how many no votes do we have?
8.
8. Okay, thank you. Put your cards down. Anyone abstaining, please raise your hand. We have 2 abstentions. Anyone abstaining on Zoom?
1 abstention.
1. Okay, so we'll ask Reverend Kathy to tally the vote. We have 35 noes, 17 yes, and 3 abstentions. The motion has failed. Reverend Peter, would you like to make any comments? The congregation has spoken.